Hey everyone, I just thought I'd give a quick update to the Sergeant's D-Day game before we play the, well, I have one set up for today, but this is just another run through of the rules for me before I do the June 6th one that I have planned. And there are just a few rules that I really did botch. And it's just surprised no one's caught me. Or, told me in the comments, or you're watching and thinking, my gosh, how could you be so wrong? Which I was, actually. The first rule that I got wrong horribly is when drawing damage cards, you only draw one damage card, like one card, and you check all the range bands for damage. You don't draw one card for each range band of damage that you're checking. That, I think, is going to have a huge impact on play. But we'll see. It definitely will mean that there will be fewer times where I have to shuffle the deck or run through my draw pile and reshuffle the discard pile. So that's good, I guess. But I think that's a core mechanic that I've been doing wrong for a couple of years, and I'm not really sure where I got that from. The other rule change is, I don't know if it's a rule change. Well, actually, it's a better understanding of the mechanics of hand-to-hand. I was overcomplicating it, imagine that, but I think this time around I will have it better. You do draw one card for each value of your hand-to-hand value on your character sheet, and then you take that number of cards that you drew, add that number, the number, not the cards physically, but add the number to the cards you have left over for your initiative on a regular turn, and that gives you your initiative bonus, or initiative number, if you will, for that hand-to-hand combat. Then those cards that you drew are going to be used to determine the kills, hits, pins, zips, things like that for that round of combat. Okay, that actually makes a big difference too to some things that I was thinking. Things just became more clear as I played some more sample games off camera for myself. So anyway, I'm going to go with that. And then when you're done with that round of combat, those cards go to the discard pile. The other one is pin markers. I did ask this on Board Game Geek, and it is just one pin marker per result. So even if I had 3 pin results on a soldier, they're only pinned once. So those extra pins are ignored, which is fine. That's great, because that means zips and pins aren't as bad as I thought they could be. Finally, when setting up your scenario and you're given victory points per side, the characters that are assigned to that scenario, their victory points don't count towards the victory point total you're given to build your squads, which I also was doing for a while, and I just happened to be rereading the first couple pages of the scenario book, and it says right there on like page 1, characters listed in the scenarios do not count towards the VP total for the force. So I just got to do a better job of reading stuff. But I think those 4 things will make for a better gameplay, I'm thinking. So with that, let's take a look at the board and the story, well, mission, if you will, scenario for the next Sergeant's game we're going to play. And we'll take a look at the soldiers I have involved for that battle, and then we'll take it away. First thing is Scenario 3. Let's see what we're doing. Scenario 3 is called Someplace Else. It's going to be 13 turns. Situation report. June 6, 1944, early morning. Uto Dreher and GFR Meyer, I'm still not sure what that is. Meyer had a nice day planned when these darn paratroopers dropped out of the sky and ruined the morning. It's time to get out of this area and back among friends. So the 2 characters we had for the Germans were Uto and Meyer, and then 12 victory points worth of soldiers. So Uto and Meyer come free, essentially, and then I added up 12 victory points worth of soldiers for them to have. Worked out great. And then we got 20 victory points for the soldiers. So that does put the German player slightly ahead on victory points and soldiers that they're going to bring to this particular fight. So we'll see how it goes. Orders. We'll do, when we actually start, we'll take a look at the orders and see which orders they're going to have selected for each side. I've already constructed the story deck. I didn't purchase any equipment. I just went straight with soldiers. That just seems easy for me to manage as far as doing a solo play. And again, special instructions, by the end of turn 4, any soldier not on the board is removed from play. But usually we'll have everybody on the board by 2 turns in at the tops. So I think we'll be okay on that one. That's the scenario we're going to do. Let's go ahead and take a look at who we're bringing to the fight. First up, for the Americans, we're bringing the ever popular Sergeant Harrison with us. And we're going to have Private Rogers, PFC Barstow, PFC Emerson, and PFC Xavier. Harrison and Rogers, and Barstow. So Harrison is 6 points, Rogers is 4, so that's 10. 4 more points for Barstow, so we're at 14. Emerson is 3, so that's 17, and then Xavier's 3 is that brings us total to 20 victory points. And then here's their deck. So we've got 5 soldiers here. The Germans, with their extra points, because Dreyer and Meyer were free, and then they got 12 more points. So I happen to have 4 Germans in my deck that were 3 points each. I do have a couple that are worth like 8 points, or 4 points, but those were pretty big special characters. I just thought I would just go with all basic stuff. I could have taken maybe a couple soldiers that were worth 4 points and swapped out equipment. So there is some building possibilities that you could do with these troops. However, for this, I just put more manpower. I figure whoever's got the most soldiers on the board is probably going to be the victor. So manpower, I'm thinking, is going to be key to this. Alright, so who do we have? So Dreyer is worth 7 points, and Meyer is 3. So that's the 10 points that you get from the characters. And then again, the rest of these are 3. So Kortig, Schreiner, Amsel, and Schultz. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12. That's the 12 victory points that they could build with. And that gives them a 6-person squad. Then the map for today kind of looks like this. We've got kind of a pasture area up here. And then we've got a road coming across. The road doesn't really do a whole lot as far as, like, I haven't seen rules that say, if you're traveling along a road you get extra move or anything like that. So this is just more for, how the layout of the land looks. However, it'd be interesting to see how these defensive areas will play in. So there's a -1 shoot. Road is kind of open, but is protected by some cultivated fields here on either side of the road. Cultivated field. A couple more cultivated fields. This one has -2 to shoot. These are clean, open, no defensive bonuses for shooting really. A couple more defensive bushes up here and here. And then we have another big kind of marshy area down here. And then some defensive, bushes, if you will. So I think shooting won't be too much of a problem. Now, it really will depend on the orders that people are given, if it's going to be just skirmish orders or if they have patrols where they're going to have to come in on some area of the board and make it off, then what that path of travel will be like. So we won't know exactly what they have to do on the field until we draw those order cards, which will be one of the first things we do when we start the scenario. So after I get things set up, we'll do just that. I do have my turn tracker. I'm just going to put it right about there. Maybe move this a little closer. So there it is. We're all set up to play. So hopefully next time I turn the camera back on, we'll start drawing cards and causing trouble. Here we have the American orders. We'll go ahead and flip them. That didn't flip the way I wanted. Okay, just kind of mix them ever so slightly, because now we're going to roll a die 3 and see which order we get for the Americans. That is a 1, so this card right here. So they're going to have a skirmish. On turn 2, enter at any unused entry area. Kill or capture all enemy soldiers encountered. Success gains 23 victory points. Alright, okay. They got to get everybody. Which, like we mentioned, will be a little challenging because the Germans have more troops. Okay, so let's see what the Germans are bringing. So they've got the 3 here. So we'll flip. flip. Mix them up. Mix them up. How? Nobody knows. And here comes a die 3 for them as well. Oof, went way over there. And it's also going to be number 1. And they got Patrol, entering the map using area B and exit the map from area Z. So they just have to get one person. So they're going to go from B over here to Z. So it's really just like almost straight across the board. Looking for good paths. I get almost just come straight in, and then they can just come all the way around. They could shoot across the pastures. There's no moving hindrance this way. I'm just thinking about the quickest path, because they can move diagonally. If they just shoot across a couple, diagonal and diagonal out. Now, the American player theoretically would not know that, but since I'm playing both sides, I guess I can kind of cheat, and we'll see what we can do to stop that, and then we'll try and play fairly to get some Germans off the board. But they are going to get 20 victory points for that. The Americans could still win, because I mean that doesn't mean the end of the game. That just means by the end of the game, if they can get someone off of the map, they'll get 20 victory points. Conversely, you know, every soldier possibly killed is worth victory points. And then if the Americans are able to stop or capture or kill all of the Germans, then you know that's going to be a lot of victory points there. So there are a lot of victory points on this table up for anybody to grab. So we'll get ready to see. Let me just put those cards over here as reminders. I think that means when we come back, we'll be ready to go. Just double check in here. 2 cards, yeah, so 2 cards drawn for Dreyer, and there's going to be 2 cards drawn for Harrison. Tiebreakers, let me see, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what the tiebreakers were. If it's the same amount of cards, then highest victory points would be Dreyer. Dreyer is worth 7 victory points, so they'll get the tiebreakers, if you will. Then if they lose Dreyer, then it's quite possible then that the Americans will have initiative. So taking the leadership out will be key for both of these folks to secure and maintain initiative the whole time. Well, that's it. There's a look at the board. So any minute now we will come back and start the action. Time to start revealing the action cards we have to play with. Okay, so 3 is for the scenario, and each of the 2 sergeants in charge have draw cards value of 2. So we're going to draw 5 for the Americans and 5 for the Germans. First card we draw is a hide, then a look, a move, another move, and a move. Wow, that's very moving. Then for the German player, we have a shoot, a move, shoot, look, hide. That's probably a little, probably not as good. The look will be good, depending on how the action cards play out. But the Americans might have the advantage here with all the moves, because we got to move onto the board before we can do any of the spotting and shooting. Okay, action cards are all of the moves, then the shoots, all of the hides, then some more moves, and then a look and a shoot. No random events, none of the colors match. Okay, let's see, German player, they have initiative. They do have a move card. We'll put a move on here in their first spot, because again, they're trying to do that patrol. They want to get people off the board. The problem is from there, not much they can do. Yeah, because they have a hide, so they can play the hide card. They basically, if you pull up an action you can't do, it just kind of negates the card, but they can fill the spot. The reason why they want to fill the spot is if they can't fill any of the spots, they lose all the cards, would potentially lose initiative, and then they would burn through their deck trying to find a card to fit the spot. And so luckily we do have a look, and that's actually useful for them. Yeah, so we'll reveal that order in detail when we get to it. So they can fill out the deck, and they get to keep, they got 2. Well, each side is going to have 2 cards left over. It's just the German player has the higher victory point soldier, so that's why they have initiative right now. Okay, so again we have move, 2 moves essentially in a row that we could do. 5 soldiers may move, 3 soldiers may move, 5 soldiers may move. Yikes, that's good. We happen to have 5 soldiers, so we'll actually take 5. I'm going to do 5 and the Sergeant Harrison second because that's his dog tag action. Well, Barstow would have a dog tag action there, so we'll do it like that. That's fine. That'll get everybody on the board. The thing is, since theoretically the American player should not know what the German player's scenario orders, special orders are, I can move Americans onto the board. So what I will do is randomly determine their entry point, and then hopefully when some Germans come on the board, the American player can kind of start moving towards them, just to be kind of fair. Otherwise, I would just block off Area Z, and that wouldn't be very fair to the AI, non-existent German player. So we'll try to randomize it a little bit. Oh, but anyway, then the last phase is going to be a look and a shoot, and I do have a look. So both sides will be able to spot. Okay, first are the move shoots. Phase 1, German player does have the move. They have the initiative, they can move first. Meyer may shoot an enemy soldier. Meyer is not on the board, and there's no enemy spotted, so he can't shoot. Meyer also gets a dog tag action. This was his hero card moment, but he can only do part of it. It does say 3 soldiers can move. I'm going to not bring Dreyer on immediately, because if he dies right away, then that's a huge blow in initiative to the German player. But we will bring Meyer on, so I'll grab his hidden marker. And I'll just bring these 2 more on, because they're all just regular Joes, regular Jerrys. And the mission says they're coming on B. I'm going to leave their dog tags up so I know who's what. And again, their job is to just try and make their way across somehow over to Area Z safely and off the board. Alright, German player is done. Meyer can take an extra move. I don't know if I want to split him. Yeah, I do. Charge. Okay, good. American player gets to move all 5. And what his says, well, on turn 2, so I could bring some forces on now, and then on turn 2, bring the rest on. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll bring some on now, and then bring the rest on turn 2. So let's determine. Now, Area B is obviously taken over, so I'm going to roll a die 10, because that leaves me 5 other entry points. Here's the die 10. And 10, we'll just count around. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're going to come on to Area C. So I'm going to bring Barstow, because that's his dog tag action. I'm going to bring Private Rogers, and I'll bring Emerson. It probably doesn't make that big of a difference right now, but we do have people on the board now for both sides. Great. Then we hit, I'm just going to move these 2 cards off to the side. Those are the initiative cards at this point, so I don't really need those right now. And we're going to reveal Phase 2. Phase 2 is all of the hides, then the move actions. Hide. They're already hidden, so like I said, that's kind of a bust of a move or action. Then the Americans have a move. All right, at this point, The Americans, because the German player is hidden, they can probably tell there's an enemy presence, but they have not identified the enemy. I was actually surprised. We have some light wooded areas in our neighborhood, and it is amazing how far you can see through light woods and tell that there's something there, but not necessarily know like exactly. So they probably could tell through this, because I forget what they said the scale of these squares were, like how far across they are. But these folks are actually fairly close. So they probably know that an enemy is out here, but they might not have them completely, pinned down, spotted. That's why they're hidden. So I'm just trying to decide, would they actually move up? Excuse me. So what I'll do is, I think I'll roll 1, 2, or 3 just to decide where the American is going to go. They can't move diagonally because I just noticed I have the red here. So no diagonal movement into that. But they can go here or here. So I'll do a die 4. So on a 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. So they're going to move up here. Their second move was 5 soldiers may move, and then Harrison could go again. I didn't bring Harrison on, so that would have been Harrison's moment to shine. But I'm going to save him for turn 2 specifically. Not phase 2, but turn 2. So I'm going to move these 2 yokels up. And there they are. That's a move for them. Okay, third phase. Okay, the look. 3 soldiers may sight, and I didn't bring Dreyer on yet. So these 3 soldiers are going to try and spot across. Now, for these guys here, 1, 2, 3. It's 3 spaces, but we have to look and see what the minus to the looks are. So there's a -2. Well, no, that's a hide. Sorry. Look is -2. Look is -3. Look is -4. So I subtract 4 from their look value, and that will tell me how many squares they can see. So this is Kurtig and Schreiner. So Schreiner has a look of 14. Right, with only being 4 squares away, if I subtract 4 from that, he could still see 10 squares between them. So he's good. Kurtig can still see, because he can see 5 squares. And they're 1, 2, well, 3 squares away. Okay, so they can see whoever they want. And I think Meyer would be in the same boat. Meyer can see, well, his look is only 8. So actually, I don't think he could see anybody. His look is going to be different, though, because he is going center to center. 1, 2, yeah, he's still 3, well, 4, because he's cutting through here a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And what are his looks? -2, -3, -4, 4. Nope, he could still see. He could still see. So if each of them does a spot, that means all of them are now spotted. So let's bring on Barstow is on now. And Rogers and Emerson. Rogers, Emerson. So they have been spotted. If they had stayed back, I don't think Meyer could have seen them. But we're trying to do some shooting, so we'll be okay. I'm just going to set these dog tags off to the side there. Alright, but the Americans are going to return the favor because, not quite. 1 soldier may sight, and then Emerson can sight. So with the 3 of them here, it's a little different. It's -1, 2, 3, it's 5, because that has a -2 as well. So they have -5 squares to spotting. They are 1, 2, 3 squares away. Alright, so let's see. Who's got really good sight? He's got good sight. So 14, 15, 9. they all can see as well. So it's just a matter of, we'll just spot these two across from us. So that's going to be Kurtig and Schreiner. Kurtig and Schreiner are spotted. That means Meyer is safe for the moment. Just put them in there so I can see the square values. Alright, that's the third phase. So I'll clean up, and then we will get ready for the new turn. That was turn 1. Be right back. Old cards are gone. Let's draw some new ones. We'll do the German player first. Draws a shoot, another shoot, a move, look, another shoot. That could go very badly for the American player because everybody so far that the Americans brought on have been spotted. We get a shoot, another shoot, another shoot. I swear I shuffled these beforehand. And look. Ooh, okay. Well, there's a lot of shooting. We'll see who can outshoot who. Let's see what this story wants. We have a move and then a look. Oops. A couple extra came with it. A move, then a hide, and we have a random event. Let's see what happens. And then a hide and a look. Random event, people to people. So Meyer rallies all German soldiers. Komm sie wer ein krasses Gros. That's my poor German accent. Well, that would be fantastic if we had some people who needed to be rallied. Amazing. That would have taken all the pin markers off any pinned Germans. All right, cool. That's an amazing... That is amazing, but not going to be very helpful. Okay, so we got move. All right, well, I have a lot of shoot cards, but only one shooting phase. So that definitely goes in favor of the German player this time around. Well, let's go ahead and do the German player first because I think he's got enough to do all of these actions. So he's going to pick a shoot. One soldier, one soldier, one soldier. Is Schreiner? Yeah, Schreiner and Schultz. Nope, just Schreiner's on. So I'm going to take one of Schreiner's because he can shoot and do a dog tag so like him and his buddy in that square can fire. Wow, what a terrible... They were all only one soldier may shoot kind of cards, and then you get the dog tag action. So that will go here. And then we have move and hide. We'll do a move. It's the only one I got. 3 soldiers can move. And then it's a hide or a look, which I have another look, which doesn't matter. Currently, it might matter because I might need to bring American troops on, which I cannot. Since I did not get a move, I can't bring the rest of my Americans onto the board yet. But we can shoot. So I have a 1 soldier may shoot, 3 can shoot, 2 or 2. We're going to do the 3 soldiers can shoot. Xavier, that's his dog tag. He's not on the board, so he does not get a heroic moment, but he will shoot. Then it's a move or a hide. I do not have a move or hide. Then it's a hide or look. I have a look. Now at this point, since I have no move or a hide, I have to discard these 3. And now I get to draw until I get a move or a hide. There's a hide. So we'll try to hide. Fantastic. And we begin. The German player gets to shoot first. So 1 soldier may shoot and then Schreiner. So first we'll have Kortig shoot. There's no shooting penalty. There's a -1 and a -1. So there's going to be -2 to his shooting skill. And that was Kortig. There he is. His close range is 2, and I subtract 2 from that, so it'd be 0, so he can't shoot. But they are 3 squares away, so he'll be able to do the short range band and the long range band. So what I'm going to do is first of all move his 2 initiative cards off so I don't confuse them with combat draws. We draw one card and check the long and short range. He's got a hit on the long range and a miss on the short range. So I'll just do that. Oh, but I didn't decide who he's shooting. I've got 3 people in here, so I'll just kind of line them up so I can see their names later. And we'll just go 1, 2, or 3. And they're going to shoot at number 1. So that's Emerson. Okay, Emerson draws one card to see what happens. Ooh. Alright, Emerson draws a kill. Alright, Emerson goes down. Emerson. That's bad. Let's just stick him over here in the graveyard. That would be some victory points for the German player, though. But just gonna, I find that this little board is kind of crowded, so the way I bump the cards around, I start, making a mess. So I'm just gonna stick all the dead people over here. So we know right now, German player has about 3 victory points. Yay, Germany! All right, that was bad. Now that's bad because Schreiner gets to shoot, and Schreiner is the same thing. So it's 1, 2, 3 away. Subtract 2. Schreiner's shooting. His close range is 3. So if I subtract 2 from that, he could go to 1 square away, but they're out of that. So he also will be making a short and long range shot. Does he hit? He gets a miss and a miss. So he misses it long, misses it short. Alright, that's very lucky for the American player because they're already down 1. And they don't have any of their backups onto the board yet. So already looking really, really bad for the American player. So we reveal their phase, and it's going to be 3 soldiers that can shoot, and that's it. They only got 2, so they will each take a shot. But going out, there's a -1 for their shoot, and no other penalties for them. This is all easily shot through, apparently. So with Barstow, yeah, it's outside of close, because if I subtract 1, he can shoot 1 square away. Barstow, his close is 3 squares away, but they're still 3 squares away. So each of them is going to be a long and a short range shot. Alright, so we'll go for Rogers first. Rogers draws, and he gets a miss at long, but 1 hit at short. Okay, so which one does he go for? I just needed 2. There's 2 there, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. So it's going to be Kurtig. Okay, Kurtig draws a card. He gets a pin. Perfect. I haven't opened up the pin bag yet. Hold on a second. Enjoy the board while I get a pin marker out. Alright, and we did clarify with Board Game Geek that you get 1 pin marker. So Kurtig gets that. Okay. Then, that was Rogers shooting. So we'll do Barstow shooting now. And it's the same thing. It's going to be close and long. And he misses at the long range band, but hits at the short range band. And he hits a 1. So he hits Schreiner. That's his damage card. Schreiner gets a pin as well. And pin makes it so you can't move, and all of your stats are in half. So their shooting has dropped drastically. They can still shoot, and at this close range, they may still at least be able to hit at long range bands. So that's something. Alright, so the shooting for the Americans is done. Phase 2 for the German player is the move. And then Ansel, who is not on the board yet, would be his dog tag action, but we get 3 can move. Alright, this is going to shift things up again, but they're moving. Now, they can't move diagonally here because of the S, but they can certainly move into the pasture and then around. So they're going to move. So Meyer moves, and those 2 guys rush. And try and put a little distance between them and the Americans and get closer to off the board. So their move is done. Second phase action was to hide. So 3 soldiers can take cover. We're pretty close. I doubt we're going to be able to take cover, but I'm going to try. I'm going to take a peek. Let's see. First is Rogers. Rogers has a cover of 3. So if I can get 1, 2, oh yeah, guess what? Rogers can. Rogers hides, because what you do is you count these hides between you and the enemy, and you count the hide in your square. Normally you don't, when you're counting distance, you don't count the value in your own square, but when you're hiding in the bushes in your square. So that's -2, 3, it's going to cut through here, 4, 5, 6. So there's actually quite a bit of stuff here that Rogers can go down into the brush and make himself hidden again until he decides to shoot. Then Barstow is the same thing. He's going to have like a 6. So Barstow's hide is a 4. So you subtract 6 from that number, and if you can get that number to 0 or lower, you hide again. So they have disappeared like ghosts. Their buddy is gone, so they said, oh, we're going to duck down out of sight. That means here, oh, well, look at that. Hey, talk about perfect timing. They draw the look. And I thought that look would be after bringing the other American troops onto the board, not the fact that those guys hid. Okay, so now we have to recalculate the ability to spot. And -2 to look. Let me grab the point. I think it's going to cut through several squares here. It cuts through that square. It like cuts right on the corner there. I'm trying to get center to center. So I'm thinking, I don't think it touches this. It like cuts on the corner here. So I think it's going to go here, here, here. So with the look, -1, -2, -4. So that's -4 to the look, and that puts them at 1, 2, it's 3 away. So -4 from the look, subtract 3. There are 3 squares. I think they can be spotted because Schreiner and Kortig have looks. Yeah, Schreiner's 14, Kortig is 9, but they're, oh, but remember, they got pinned. Oh, wait a minute, and they were pinned. They can't move. Oh my goodness, I have to rewind. They're stuck. I forgot about that. And 1, 2, 3. It is 3 squares away, so even if I half the look value of Kurtig, and you round down, so that's 4.5 minus. You know what? Kurtig can't see them. Oh, I forgot about that magical pin. Pin, half of 7, subtract 4. Schreiner can see 3 squares away. 1, 2, 3. So he can spot 1 person. So he's going to roll. I forgot all about that. So he's going to spot Barstow. Okay. Oh man, that changed the game quite a bit by having those 2 Germans get pinned. See, now Meyer wishes he had that rally all German troops. Meyer, let's see, how many could they do? Oh, 1 soldier. Oh, look at that. I'll give it to, because of the ranges, it's fine. Only 1 soldier spotted. I forgot that too. So I just did the spotting with the 1 soldier who could. We're good. Okay, phase 3 for the Americans is a look. They can try to spot Meyer, which would be important because if I can get American troops on the board, maybe they can do a cutting off action. Okay, so it's going to be, let me see who's got the better spot range. Barstow can do 15. They're both pretty good. Barstow can do a 15. I'm pretty sure he can see, but we're going to see what we can get through here. So center to center. This supposed to count as like 2 squares. So 1, 2, and I got to count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. They're like 5 squares away. And then you subtract a look. Oh boy, it cuts through all of that look at that angle. That's -6 to the look. -6 to the look. Oh, that's fine. Because if he had 15, subtract 6, that's 9 squares he could see away. And he can see, the distance we said was 1, 2, 3, 5 away. He can see Meyer now. All right. Boom. Okay, that changes things a lot. All done. All right, I'm going to put you down, clean up the cards. We'll come back and draw for turn 2. Let's change that marker there. Turn 3 is coming up. Let's draw some cards here for the German player. They get a shoot. They get a move. They get a move. Oh, I forgot to discard those 2. And they get a move. So a lot of mobility there. That might be what they need to fulfill their patrol and get those victory points. Great. The American player, on the other hand, draws a shoot, another shoot, a move, and a shoot. Well, not a lot of variety there, but it really depends on what we draw for the story cards. There's a shoot and a move. Excellent, they need shooting. Another move and a shoot. Great, they got a lot of shooting. And a move and a look. And no color matches, so no random event that time. Okay, so let's plan out the German player first. They want to move. They have enough moves that they're probably going to get Meyer off the board. I think so. And let's look. They got 3 soldiers may move and move again. Yeah, they're going to play that first. They're going to get people as close to off the board as possible. And what they will do, though, is a shoot in between. So 1 soldier may shoot, but they've been pretty good with the shooting so far. And then a move. 5 soldiers may move. Then we can bring on extra troops. So these 2 leftover cards are the initiative. So they're going to bring on some reinforcements. And then they're going to battle it out. They're going to score those sweet, sweet victory points for getting the patrol done. And then score more victory points for taking out more Americans is their goal. We do have 2 move. Well, we've got 2 move cards and some shoots. Gotta move so we can try to block off the German player. But we need to shoot to try and slow them down as well. I think what we'll do is a move, first of all. 3 soldiers may move and move again. And it's got Xavier as a dog tag because we're going to bring him on. Because my thinking is bring the rest of the American squad on. Then we can conduct shooting. Problem is this only gives us 1 shoot action for the turn. 2 soldiers can shoot. Rogers and Emerson. I think Emerson is the dead one. Yeah, Emerson's dead, so I don't want Emerson's dog tag action. So we'll take Rogers, and he's got 2 soldiers may shoot, and that's his dog tag action for the shooting. So I can probably get 3 shots. And then finally I've got another move to fulfill that. Move and move again. Whew. Wish us luck. And we'll just flip those. Germans maintain the initiative. So for their first action, move. 3 soldiers may move and move again. Well, since those other 2 are pinned, they're not moving. And Ansel is about to come on the board. They're going to come in on area B, though, because that's where they come in on. And that's all 3. So 1. They're not spotted, so I'm going to bring their non-spotted little token on. it's going to give me a handful of Germans to manage here. Okay, no problems. But that's their move, and it's 3. Ansel can move again. Well, all 3 can move again. So they all 3 move, because now they're trying to... They have to be spotted, so they're okay at the moment. And then Ansel is his dog tag action. He can move again, so he's going to come join Meyer. And now they got that squad spread out, so they can conduct group firing. Not that there's group firing, but they look like they're spread out now. Okay, that's phase 1 for them. Then phase 1 for the Americans. 3 soldiers may move and move again. Now I got to bring the other Americans on. Okay, so the American player sees the direction that the German player is going. Oh, you know what though? It said on turn 2 I could enter anywhere that I wanted. It is now turn 3. So that means the Americans have to deploy onto their original spot of Area C. Oh my goodness. That did not work out at all the way I wanted. The cards were not kind, and now the Americans are out of position to really do much, unfortunately. I think the German player is going to get off the board. I forgot about that. It doesn't matter. I was hoping I could bring the Americans on. I was going to roll to see like if they're coming on this side of the board, but since it's turn 3, we've lost the opportunity to come on turn 2 because we drew a whole bunch of not cards I wanted. All right, well, 3 soldiers may move and move again, and then Xavier gets a dog tag action. So that's 2 Americans. I get to move 3. So there's no diagonal here. So I'm going to go here, and then Xavier had that extra move for his dog tag action. So he's going to move up because we're going to try and move to engage now. We're moving up. We're going to get some firefights going. All right, now we got to check for phase 2. All right, so phase 2 action is the shooting. Now comes the shooting. They're fine. Rogers isn't spotted. This is the only target for the German player, and the German gets 1 soldier may shoot, and then Dreyer as a dog tag action can shoot. So shooting straight down. I think those 2 could still shoot because it's going to be 1, 2. It's only 3 physical squares away. Schreiner at half is 1. Okay, so they would go half of 7 would be 3.5. Round down is 3, and then there's -2. Okay, so he can only shoot long. You know what's weird is Dreyer has a long of 6, and the other guy there, Schultz, has a long of 11. You know, I'm thinking -1. If I do the math here, trying to see who can get the better shot, because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 squares away. It's going through 4 squares. 1, 2, 3. Because I'm trying to go center to center, and again it cuts on that point right there. So there's no -1 here. There's a -1 there, -2. -2 to shoot. -2 to shoot, and Schultz can't do the close, but he could do short range because they are only 3 squares away. And you subtract that 2 shoot means he could shoot 4 squares, and they are 1, 2, 3 away. Schultz is actually going to have the better shot. So he's going to fire at poor old Barstow, who is the only one exposed, and he's looking for long and short range. He misses on long, but he hits on short. So it's a good thing we checked on Schultz. Well, for the German player, it's a good thing. But poor Barstow gets a pin for his own. It's his own pin marker. All right. We'll stick that here, and we will promptly, at some point, forget that it's there, as usual. Okay, good. So shooting damage. And DDay gets to shoot. DDay is here. The same thing. It's going to cut 1, 2, 3, and there's 2 to his range. So his close range is horrible, as you can see, and his short range is also bad. So he's only going to hit at long range. So he's probably got like that MP40 there. So let's see if he hits at long range. He misses at long range. So we'll put that there. Okay, done. German phase 2 shooting, done. Americans are going to do their shooting. And because Barstow is pinned, he's going to have maybe Xavier shoot. Xavier, pretty good range. He's got -2, and he is 1, 2, 3 away. Well, actually, it's just -1. It's 3 away, -1. Yeah, see, his close is only 2 squares, so he'll hit it short. He'll hit it short and long, no problem. But that will expose him. Barstow, on the other hand, with -1 shoot, yeah, he would lose out on short because you have to go half of that, subtract 1, you have to be like 1 square away. So Xavier will expose himself in a fighting way, not in a different kind of way. So Xavier's on the board, and then he will go for the short and long range. So he has a hit at short range, okay. But who is he shooting? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So he's shooting at Shriner. Now Shriner's already pinned, so the only thing he could do worse would be to actually get like a kill shot or a wound. Or a wound. That is worse. So Shriner has been shot and is now pinned and wounded. Okay, well, it could be worse. Could have got a kill. So he's hurt. Okay, phase 3 for the German player is the move. 5 soldiers may move, and then Korte can move again. So we're trying to get off the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Korte, well, that's 4. And since those 2 over there are pinned, and that's Korte's dog tag action, so he can't actually move. So those 4 soldiers have moved, and they are that much closer to getting off the board. The American player can move. 2 soldiers may move and move again. Well, here's the thing. I know better than to try to move into close quarters combat. That's like horrible, especially when it's 1 soldier, so not going to do that. But let's see, Barstow is pinned, so Xavier is going to move up closer, and I don't want to move them into this open road, but this will move them a little bit closer. Maybe we can start shooting here. But all they need is 1 move action. They can move diagonally off of their goal area. So I don't think the Americans were successful in stopping the patrol. But that's 2 soldiers. Xavier could move again, but again, like where would I can move him here. There's some protection, but I can't move diagonally right now. What I could do, oh, you know what? Just stay there. Stop overthinking it. Okay, you're welcome. All right, let me go ahead and turn the camera off. We'll be right back after a cleanup. Let's see what the Germans get to deal with. They now have a shoot, a shoot, a shoot, a move, hide. All right, well, I think they're going to do some shooting this turn. American player scores on a move. They get a move. They get another move. Another move. I promise, I shuffled these decks before we started. A shoot. Move. Alright, well, let's see what the story deck says. Move and then look. Hide and then shoot. Hide and then move. Now, that hide is good because you can use a hide to rally. And they've got 2 soldiers that need to rally. But one soldier takes cover. They might not get to rally both. Yeah, actually they can. I'll show you how here in just a moment. But we do have a move. We're going to move 5 soldiers. And Cortic can move again. So 5 soldiers will move. That will score them that sweet, sweet patrol. And forgot to advance the turn marker. So we're on turn 4 now. Then it says hide or shoot. Only got 1 hide. So we're going to do a shoot at that. This is 2 soldiers may shoot. So we'll do the 2 soldiers may shoot. And then we'll do the hide. And they both can rally after that. And these 2 will be left over. Initiative. Then, since it's a move and a look, yeah, Americans will do some running. But which move? We got a 5. We'll start with this one because that's 5. So that will be everybody. And then Xavier can move a second time if he needs to. Then it's a hide and shoot. So they'll have to shoot. But it's a terrible one. It's only 1 soldier may shoot. And then Rogers. And then it's a hide and move. Then we'll move. So we'll do a 3 soldiers may move and move again. So that would give us some good mobility options there. Lots of mobility. Alright. Yeah, oh, and I look, no color matches, so no random event. Okay, phase 1, German player. Move. So 5 soldiers may move. The thing is, how many do I want to move off the board? Because that will leave... If I move, yeah, we're going to see if we can move everybody off the board and eventually get Kortig and Schreiner off. I mean, that will deny the Americans getting extra victory points, and that will guarantee a win for the German player. They could probably put this game away slightly early because they're going to get everybody either dead or off the board, and then the Americans, no matter how many Germans they kill at this point, they can't score enough victory points to win. This right here, honestly, I think really determined the game. We got the mobility. Now, we didn't get the mobility when we needed it, but, you know, it's the way it plays out. So here we go, 5 moving. So Ansel and Meyer move off. So I'm going to put them on the patrol card. Now, patrol, I'll go back and read that, but I'm pretty sure it just says you just need to get like 1 guy off. You don't have to get like every single person off. So I think they got it. But then Dreyer and them, there are, that makes 4. It says 5 can move. Is Kortig one of them? No, he's already off. But the other 2 guys are pinned. So that's the end of the German phase. So the Germans, they're just trying to run across, right? That makes sense. They're just trying to get off the board because it's a patrol. They weren't there to actually engage. We were there to engage, and it didn't work out. Okay, so first activation for the Americans is a move. 5 soldiers can move. Well, at this point, the chase won't get them. But what we can do is actually move the rest of the squad and try to capture those 2 guys. That is something to do. So we can move, except for my 1 wounded guy. So Barstow can't move, but Harrison will move. And let's see, that's an S move. So they're going to move up because at some point they can cut off. So they're going to try and cut off these last 2 German guys. They're going to move in and try and capture them. So we're going to see at some point if we can get everybody moved up and then move them in simultaneously to do close quarter combat. Okay, phase 2. Oh, the shooting. 2 soldiers may shoot. Hey, look, I've got 2 soldiers left, and we've moved some soldiers closer to the wounded guys because they're trying to move in. This works out great. So they're going to shoot at our 2 incoming Americans. I'm going to line them up like that. And it is 1 square on the diagonal, and there's no penalty to shoot. So their skills are halved, but the Americans are 1 away. So half of 1 is 0. Well, it's 0.5 round up is 1 square. close, half of 2 is 1. So they're going to get at all 3 range bands. Oh, I was looking at the wrong two guys. Shriner is wounded, but see, his close is still 2, half of that is 1. The Americans are 1 square away. Okay, so let's take Kortig first. Now, at this point, the only American they can see is Xavier, and they can see Barstow, but honestly, they're probably going to shoot this guy who's closest to them, and they can't shoot at Rogers. So everything comes on poor Xavier. Okay, so Shriner first, they're hitting on all 3 range bands. So it's a misses at long, hits it short, misses at close. So Xavier, oh, yeah, this is it. Gets a pin. I'm just scared of either the wound or a kill. So poor Xavier is now pinned. It could be worse for the Americans. And then the other dude gets a miss. Okay, so lucky there for Xavier. Xavier got a little suppression. He got a little too close. Which will now actually slow down the Americans even more. So the hand-to-hand might not work out the way they wanted because they can't move everybody in that they would like to. Okay, well, there you go. That was the phase 2. 2 soldiers may shoot. Meyer is off the board. So they're done. All right. Phase 2 for the American player is shoot. They want some revenge. Rogers is the dog tag action, and Meyer is right, or Xavier is right there. So they're going to shoot. Xavier, he is pinned. His skill of 2 would go to half, but they are 1 square away. So he's going to get all 3 range bands, and so will Rogers. I'm going to put Rogers on the board right now so I don't forget about it later. So they are all right there. Okay, so Xavier, he's going to shoot. Let me see if I even hit. So he hits on all 3 range bands. It's a miss, hit. Okay, so who does he hit? A roll of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. He hits Kortig. Kortig gets wounded. Kortig is pinned and wounded. Sorry, Kortig. Sorry, not sorry. Then Rogers gets a shot. It's all 3 range bands. Hit, miss, hits. That's 2 hits. Now, who is he shooting at? 1. So he's shooting at Shriner this time. And Shriner's already wounded and pinned. So if it's a wound or a kill, first hit, zip. Not what they wanted. And another wound. And that will cause poor Shriner to bleed out. So he is now a casualty of war. I dropped my pen marker. We'll just put that over here. I guess I could have paused and cut that out, but you know. Yeah. So Shriner gone. Okay. We'll take a picture and tweet that. Be right back. That brings us to the end of the Americans shooting. Done. Alright. Then we're going to hit phase 3. They get the hide. A hide action, one of the things you can do with a hide action is a rally. I can rally 1 soldier, and it's Kortig. So this is cool. So I'm not going to unpin both, but I will unpin Kortig, who's wounded. So we'll put that there. Now, his dog tag action could be to hide, but yeah, he's not going to be able to hide because the Americans 1 square away, they can see him. Like, well, let's find out. 1, okay, that's -2. That's -2. So that's -4 to the hide. And his hide, no, because his cover is 7, and I subtract 4 from that, it's still a positive number. So he's actually kind of a terrible hider. So he's not good at hide and seek. All right, never mind, he's done. Then phase 3 for the Americans, our move. Okay, they get 3 soldiers may move and move again. All right, I've got 2 that are pinned, right? But see here, I've got Xavier Xavier is pinned. Rogers is not pinned. Harrison is not pinned. So I can actually have him move. My goodness, what are we going to do? You know what? They're going to move here. Rogers will move here. They can move and move again. I'm going to move Harrison up here. The thought is I want them to go together, and then they'll come in at some point, and they will try to capture the wounded Kurtig, who's the only one left. Well, those two are on the board, but I'm going to let them slip out. I can't catch them. That's my executive decision. Now, Barstow can't move because he's pinned. That's his dog tag action. Okay, that's the end of turn 4. Let's move that tracker before I forget. There's turn 5 coming up. I'll clear up and we'll come draw some cards and see how this finishes out. Since the Germans want to get off the board, let's see if we can do that. There's a shoot, a move, a hide, a shoot. All they need is that one action card with a move, and we'll get more Germans off. Then the Americans draw a move, which is what they need to try and capture Kurtig, a hide, which we could rally, another move, a hide. I'm going to shuffle their deck here in a minute. That's good. Let's see what this story brings us before I get too excited over the possibilities here. So we have hide then look then shoot, look and shoot. No moves. Interesting. And no color matches. Okay, well, like I said, before I get too excited, boy. Okay, so the Germans won't win on this turn. Okay, so first we have a hide and a look. Well, I do have one hide card, so I'll play that. I don't have a look, so we'll do the hide. Then it's a look and a shoot. Well, we got shooting. Meyer may move and take cover. Meyer is off the board. So I got 2 soldiers may shoot. 3 soldiers may shoot. We'll put that one there for phase 2. And then we'll do 2 soldiers may shoot. It's going to be about the same because Kurtig is the one on the board. So he'll do this one because he'll take 1 shot and then he can dog tag, shoot again. And that will be his heroic going out in style before the Americans come get him. And that leaves these 2 as reserve initiative cards. Alright, then there was no moves. So I've got all these moves for the Americans, and this is a wasted. We're going to have to shuffle the deck here in a second. Okay, but they do have a hide, which is fine, because again, we can remove another pin. I got 2 units pinned, so we can do 1 there. Well, look there. 1 soldier and Barstow. So actually that would get rid of both pins. They can rally. Okay, now I don't have looks or shoots, so all of these go to the discard. Then we draw a shoot. Okay, I can do that. That's the first one I get, so we'll stick it there. Okay, I'm going to set you down while I shuffle, and then we'll come draw some more. Deck is shuffled. I need a look or a shoot. And we get the look. Soldier may sight enemy. Kind of a wasted action, but I had to do it. Alright. This is kind of a bust phase almost. Not really. It might actually work out pretty good. I think this will work out good for the Americans. I think. Let's see. German play. Okay, now I still have Dreyer on the board, so Germans still maintain initiative actually, so we're okay there. Hide. Yeah, I think the Germans will have initiative all the way through because even if Dreyer leaves the board, he's still here contributing his 2 draw cards. So I was thinking about that for a second, but no more thinking. Hide. Nobody's pinned, and he can't hide because they're like right there. They're going to notice him. Okay, then phase 1 for the Americans is is also the hide. Oh, but remember hide, you can do a rally. So we'll take one soldier, takes cover, so he'll do his rally, which will be not Barstow, but Xavier. Then the dog tag action for that, hide. Well, this says one soldier takes cover. You know what, let me pause a second and see if cover is specific, and then the dog tag action would be the special of hide. That might be what it is. Let me see. All right, so I was right. Yeah, I just noticed that. That means I mis-rallied the Germans earlier. I probably only could have rallied one German, but what we'll, yeah, because what it is if you have a narrator box that says you can rally, or a bubble action that says you can rally, you do the rally. Or you have the dog tag action that says hide, and then you can rally because that's a subset of the hide. So that's the two ways you can rally. Narrator box or a bubble action, or your dog tag action. So Barstow can rally, but not Xavier because it's not a bubble action. So what I did earlier was when I rallied, I could have only rallied the soldier that had the dog tag action if it was either one of them. So I did catch that mistake, but we're good for future sessions, so we're okay. We're okay. It's not that horrible. The outcome of the game is still going to be the same. I don't think that would have changed the outcome. Once the Germans can get, well, they've already scored enough victory points to win, so we're just trying to play this through to the end. Okay, well that's what the hide did. We got to rally one American soldier. Okay, then we come back here. Phase 2 is a shoot. Kurtig, oh, this is great because he can do the bubble action and the dog tag action. So this is going to be Kurtig's last stand. Technically, this guy is further away. He's closer. Really doesn't matter at this point which one he goes for. So we're going to roll. He's going to take a shot. First, he'll take a shot at Rogers because that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's shoot at Rogers and see what happens. Now, because it's one square away, he's going to get all 3 range bands. Oops, that's the phase card. Here's the action card. He gets a hit it long, a miss it short, and a hit it close. So that's 2 hits on Rogers. So Rogers, first card is a wound. Okay, Rogers. Wound, and then the second hit is a pin. That narratively makes sense. He got shot and now he went down. That makes sense to me. But Kurtig gets to shoot again because now it's his dog tag action. So he's going to roll the die 4, 2, same guy. So he's going to shoot at Rogers again, and it's going to be all 3 range bands because he's only 1 square away and he's not pinned, and his wounded is 2, so it's all 3 range bands. So long range is a hit, short miss, close miss. All right, Rogers. Whew. Feeling kind of nervous. It's a pin. All right, that's good because you can only have 1 pin at a time. Okay, there we go. Germans are done. The Americans are going to shoot back. But they only get 1 soldier and then Xavier. Xavier is still fine. Okay, cool. We can do that. Rogers will shoot back. Just to get some revenge, he's going to shoot back. Oh, he's pinned. So even though his it's half, he can still shoot. And the reason I'm picking Rogers is because I don't want Harrison spotted yet. Since Harrison's the leader, he'll stay hidden. But Rogers is going to shoot, and then Xavier will do the dog tag action. Or I could have Xavier shoot twice, and it would be fine. I'll just have Xavier shoot twice because why not? No, he's pinned too. And then he would be out of range. So never mind. We'll do 1 with Rogers. He'll hit all 3 range bands, and then Xavier will do the dog tag and score on long and short. So here we go, Rogers. He gets a miss at long, a hit at short, and a miss at close. And Kurtig is the only one there that we're shooting at. And he scores a zip. All right. Scared him, but didn't hit him. Then Xavier hits it long and short. Missed 2, but 2 hits at short. Ooh, okay. So we're going to draw for Kurtig a wound. Oh, that second wound. I think you're supposed to draw both. Oh, he's doubly wounded, so they're out. Alright, cool. Well, so that will end that. Kurtig is out. So here, I'm trying to be more social, so I'm going to put more pictures on social media as I play games. So if you want, go find Eddie. I think it is Eddie Carlson on Twitter, or it's going to be Jadrian, JAEDRIAN01, something like that. But you'll see pictures of games, especially if you go look for that. If you want to follow and see pictures of games, that's what that's for. And I'll tweet like when I post videos, things like that. But here comes another one more German soldier down. And I don't know if I can actually use the word kill on Twitter and not have that get flagged in some way. So I'll just say Germany loses another one. You got to be very careful this day with Twitter. So let's see if I can post that safely. That will end the American shooting phase. So we go to phase 3, which is a shoot. Now, the German player, that actually is a choice for them. They very well could, let's see, they get 1 soldier may shoot. Kurtig did not get his secondary glory moment. He's out. But Schultz or Dreyer, I still don't want Dreyer to die necessarily, and his range really sucks. But Schultz can go ahead and get some parting shots on the way out. Maybe he can take out Xavier. There's a -2 shoot in the way. And Schultz, his closest to, so he'll be able to hit at short and long. So he'll take the shot. So he'll take it. And the miss and miss. It's a miss and miss though. If he was a little bit closer, if he was 1 square closer, he would have hit. Alright, but that puts him on the board. And of course that's going to have Xavier like, oh my goodness, there's more Germans out there. Yep. And then third phase is a look. And Xavier, the story plays itself out. Xavier turns around from the direction of gunfire and looks to see who's shooting at him. And he's going to try and spot Dreyer, which is a -3 look. It's a very dense, cultivated cornfield maybe. -3 look, -2 look. That's -5 total. And the look for Xavier is 13 -5, so that puts him at, what is that, 8? Well, they are within 8 squares, so he sees Dreyer. Oh, he just went airborne. Come here, you! Off the floor. And I picked up the wrong guy. There's Dreyer. Picking up the wrong guy in the first place. Boom! He says, oh, Schnitzelwieser, something or other. Scheiße, there's more Germans. Okay, that's done. Done. I will go ahead and set this down. We'll clean up and get ready for turn 6. Let's see what the Germans are going to get. They get a move. That's exactly what they wanted. A shoot. A hide. Another move. And a move. Alright, that's all they need at this point. They can dig in if they have to. But the Americans score a look. Won't be needed. They score a shoot, which they want. They score a hide, which they also don't really need. They score a move. Yeah, we could use that. And a shoot. Yeah, definitely want shooting. Okay, story-wise, what are we getting? We're looking at a move and then shoot. Move and then hide. Look and then shoot. Okay, Germans. 3 soldiers may move. 2 soldiers may move. 2 soldiers may move, and Schultz. Well, they're going to take the 3 because they're 1 away. Then it would be move, so they'll move again just for whatever reason. And then finally it's a look and a shoot. They won't be here, but they'll put a shoot on the board just in case. You never know, things happen. But it's a move and a shoot. Dang, that sucks. Because even if they do a shoot action, the Germans will be off the board. So we'll just put some shoots. Shoot, move, and shoot. Right, well here comes turn 6. Let me flip these 2 initiative cards out of the way. Oh, and I didn't have a color match. I think I mentioned that. No color match, so no random event. Here we go. Move. 3 soldiers may move. They move. Now, the reason I'm moving them diagonally off the board is because it says when you come onto the board, you can come in diagonally off of your area. So to me, it would only seem reasonable that you could move diagonally off. Now, if you're saying you can't, then if we move here, the Americans could take a pot shot or 2 at the Germans, and unless they score a magical kill, the Germans do have their next card as a move, and they would be off. So even if we scored 1 more kill, the Germans are going to get the win. So just to play out the turn, we'll do that. Boom! They say, nope, no diagonal moving off of that, because maybe someone will watch the video and say, well, yeah, just because you can come onto the board diagonally doesn't mean you can leave the board diagonally. So we'll go ahead and say they have to come this way. So the American player says, they moved, but we got 2 soldiers that may shoot, and Rogers can shoot again. And Rogers is way back there. Xavier is right there. But Xavier gets a -2 to his shoot. That's it. And the range is 1, 2. I think it's going to cut through here if we get the little magic marker thing. Yep, range is 1, 2, 3 squares away. So Xavier, and Xavier's pinned. So 3 squares away, half of that, and then subtract -2 shoot. He's only going to hit it long. Xavier will only hit it long range. So he fires. He misses it long range. Then come back here to Rogers, because Rogers can shoot and shoot again. 1, now let's count here. 1, same thing. 1, 2, he's 3 away. But there's no, between him and there, he cuts right here on this corner, so he doesn't touch either of those. You know what? I don't know what they say about diagonals. I haven't even looked it up for diagonals, but I think diagonals, I'm just going to not count them. So there's no penalties to shoot. So it's just 3 away. So Rogers is going to, what is Rogers? Oh, Rogers is wounded and pinned. Ha! Joke's on me. He can't shoot, so he's half of that. You know what? He can't even shoot because he's pinned. Oh, guess what? Xavier is pinned too. I forgot to include the fact that he's pinned, but that's okay, he missed. So here's why Xavier can't shoot. 1, his close is only 2, so half of that is 1 square away, and they're like 4 squares away. And then half of this is 2. Well, you round up 3. Oh, maybe he can. 1, 2, yeah. Okay, he can shoot. He's got, he's pinned, but there's no minus on the hit markers. So he's going to hit on long and short. All right, here we go. Hit on the long, miss on short. So even if I miscalculated that, it's still a hit on long. Now, is it going to be Dreyer or Schultz? Schultz. Okay, so Schultz gets 1 hit. And it's a pin. Oh, okay. Why does that make me laugh? Because now he can't move off the board. This game will never end. Well, I got until like 13 turns. So anyway, okay, there's the shooting. Then, that's the end of the shooting phase. Oh, I gotta put a pin on Schultz. I put it on the action card. I gotta actually stick it on. Schultz is pinned. Okay, so phase 2. Germany gets a move. Dreyer is off the board. So he's done. He's off the board. He's not coming back on. And Schultz just got pinned. Interesting. Turn of events. And we have a move. It says 3 soldiers may move. So who is not pinned? Just Barstow and Harrison. So Barstow is back in action. He can move 1 diagonal, and Harrison can move diagonal here. So there's no penalties to that, because now they're going to try and move up and capture Schultz. Then Rogers, his dog tag action is move, but he's pinned. So I got a hair there. Okay. Phase 3 is a shoot. And Schultz is mad. He's like, what the heck? He's going to shoot straight down the road at Barstow, because that's who he can see. There is a -1 to his shoot. So he's got half. So yeah, he'll be able to hit the short and long. So he's shooting at Barstow, who he can see. He hits at long and short. It's miss. So he's angry, but he's kind of under suppressive fire. The Americans get a shoot again, but this time it's 1 soldier may shoot, and then Rogers can shoot again. Now we already know Rogers can do a long and a short range, because he's technically that 1, like 1, 2, 3, and there's no minus hits there. So what was his half of his? Just making sure I'm still good. Yeah, because half of short, 2.5 round up is 3. So he can still hit. So Xavier will fire. What am I doing? Rogers will fire once. That'll be his dog tag action. Then we'll have Harrison or somebody shoot, because they can get all 3. So anyway, Rogers will fire as his dog tag action. He hits it short range. Miss it long, hits it short. Schultz, uh-oh, now we're worried. Schultz, and get the kill. All right, so that's interesting. So if you don't do diagonal moves, that did make it so we lost out. And that will be the last picture of the game. But we'll end it here, and I'll take a picture in a minute. Let me kind of just get ready to do a little self-evaluation here. But this is how the board looks. Well, first of all, the Germans got to 20 victory points for getting soldiers out of the patrol area. So they got off the board. The Americans, however, scored 9 victory points. And then Germany, they also got, I think, 23, because they had 1, they shot PFC Emerson. Yeah. So they actually had 23-9. So that was a decisive German patrol. Even though they did lose a couple soldiers on the way out, they did get whatever data they needed. And this is how the board is ended. Still got some Americans on the board. So into turn 6. That's it. Awesome. All right, let's get ready for a little recap. And what an exciting finish. Just kind of looking at the board. I mean, even though it was a pretty much a spanking of the Americans, still interesting. I looked in the rules. I don't see anything that says you can't have your folks exit out of the entry point, you know, like diagonally, or if it has to be through the side. So I'll just say you can. I will ask on Board Game Geek though, just to make sure. But if I don't get an answer anytime soon, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I'll just say you can leave an area diagonally. The only thing that I would say I didn't do maybe properly is if you get the move action and you don't actually move a soldier, like if I could move 3 and I've got 4 on the board kind of thing, but I decide not to move 1 or 2 of them, what I can do is put the little move plus markers on. Then the next time that soldier goes to move, you can store them up to a move +2. And then if you have a move +1, you can move double your movement. So I can move a soldier 2 squares at that point. Or if you have a move ++, it says you could triple the movement, and then I can move 3 squares with a soldier. Then it said if you have wheeled vehicles or tracked vehicles, you're limited by the move. There's like a move limit for vehicles, but since I don't have vehicles, I don't think that would be a problem for me to have to worry about. But I'll try and keep that in mind for the future as far as moving my soldiers around. I can maybe save up some movement points. Okay, so that was scenario number 3. That's not bad. I've actually played that a couple times just to practice and try to get some of the rules down, and it played a lot differently each time, and I still think that's the strength of the system. The random cards makes for a completely different experience, because if you get different orders or the way the story cards play out, random events, things like that, this is still a highly replayable game. I think that's great. What did make the game different though for me this time when I played was I brought on more Germans, because before I was only doing the story limits of victory points to purchase things with the characters included in that victory point cost. So I actually played this before where instead of 6 Germans, I had 3 Germans, because with 12 victory points, there was the 2 Germans you get, Meyer and Dreher, which is like 10 victory points, and I actually have a 2-point German in my deck. So there was my 12 victory points. And then the Germans lost, for sure. But this is the first time playing it where I had the full load of Germans, and even though they lost 3 soldiers, the move actions went in such a way that they could get off the board, no problem. And I'm sure if I played again with the 6 soldiers for Germany and the 5 for America, it'd be a completely different gaming experience. So this is a phenomenally high replayability game. And as I get the rules down more and more, I start to learn some nuances with things. But playing as a solo player, I'm only learning nuances against myself. But it's still enjoyable. I actually think when I first got this, I probably maybe struggled with the idea of how to play the solo hand management of cards. But now that I've done this game quite a few times over the years, I think it's a phenomenal solo game, really. As a face-to-face game, I can still see the frustration with folks with the random cards and things like that. But as a solo game, the random cards and the story, it includes a fog of war that's built in that you don't even have to think about. I think it's just amazingly fun as a solo game. The only drawback that I have with it is the setup and the takedown. It's a pain in the butt. Because, I was chatting, and talking about game quality. This doesn't have a paper map. It doesn't have a mounted map. It's got these really awesome tiles that allows you to build the board in many, many different ways. But that's the problem, is you got to take time to set that up and then tear it down and put everything away. And then the soldiers, I have them stored in their original little baggies they came in, just to keep everything kind of organized, and that takes time to tear it all down. And then the story deck, you have to take some time to pull out the cards you don't need, reassemble the deck. So there's a lot of take up and tear down you have to do with the game. So if you're going to play, you definitely got to give yourself enough time for those things. For me, that's the biggest problem with the game. There's a lot to set up and take down. Beyond that, though, once it's set up and you play, I think it's great. It's a lot of fun. So if you're looking for that, if you don't mind a lot of setup and takedown, and you like a game with a lot of randomness, especially as a solo player. See, this is what's so good about the solo aspect of this, because it does bill itself as a board game, so it's a war game board game, is the decision points. So as you watch me play, the cards are kind of telling me what I could do in the turn, and how I use those actions is entirely up to me. How do I want to move? How do I want to shoot? All of that. There are still a lot of decision points you make, even if you're playing this as a solo game. That's one of the things I've complained about before in other solo games, is the fact that sometimes it feels like you're just following flow charts. You know, you're like, roll a die, go here, roll a die, go here, roll a die, and you just kind of follow a flow chart. This, even though you have it guided a little bit with matching the cards you have in your hand with the cards in the action deck that are laid out for the phase, once they match up, I mean, there's a lot of decisions to do. So I think it's great. I'll leave it at that. I know I've had people tell me they don't like the game at all. They don't like those aspects, but I think those are its strengths. So if you're into that kind of game, I think you'll enjoy it a lot. Well, with that in mind, I will wrap it up and get this posted. So thank you for watching, and I'm going to have one more filmed and ready to go for DDay, which, as a sneak peek, oh, I don't have the scenario book with me. It's in the other room. Well, for DDay, we'll do scenario 4. I have no idea what that is, but that's the scenario that we're going to do. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.